There we go.
Welcome back to the Not Televised Revolution, the only news and politics show on YouTube that would tell you where I'm from, but you wouldn't believe me. My mother is from Earth, but I'm not from here, really. You see, I'm half alien, born in a place very far away. Then I came to save the Earth. Then I came to save the day from the narrow-minded. They're all haters. They probably are just jealous because they're not creators. It took so much work to get this podcast up to par. Two crazy weapons who don't give a shit is what the fuck we are.
So, you sound pretty freaking excited. How,
Well, we
well,
got a great episode for you guys tonight, so we gotta, kind of like rush past the joke session, especially since the first story is kind of fun.
yeah, the first story is a little bit of fun. You, let me know when you're ready for me
Tell
to
me,
play this bit,
tell me
but,
what, tell me what link to click.
well, I'm looking at the, CNN, no aliens, two arrested at Storm
Yeah,
Area
I know,
51.
right? Okay, this video makes me incredibly angry. You're playing it right now, right?
I am going to. We're,
Yeah, play a minute and a half of it about.
okay, there we
All
go.
right, so just to clarify this morning, there are no reports, according to CNN, of any alien sightings
Thank you for
near
clearing that
Area
up.
51.
Thank you for making it clear.
Despite despite there was a decent turnout for yesterday's much anticipated event, and my kids were watching this. They wanted to see what was going to happen. We're talking about 2,000 people who flooded into Nevada after a call on Facebook to storm Area 51. About 200 of them have made it to the main gate, but that obviously a much smaller number than the nearly 2 million who had
Oh,
pledged
ha
to
ha
raid the
ha.
U.S. Air Force facility in Nevada.
You just can't trust folks to stay on their word. They can't come through. 2 million said they'd be there. 200 made it to the
That's
gate.
enough.
All right, so the
That's
local
kind of
sheriff says two people were
yeah,
arrested for minor issues. And
that's got to be enough. You know,
Yeah, that proves my point. That proves my point. Like, they don't take people seriously at all.
I mean, there's a little something to be said about that in this particular case. I'm not. I mean, come on, man. There's a like there's four genocides taking place on this planet right now. We've got freaking ecological collapse taking place. We've got the expanding bureaucracy taking all of our rights all at once, and so what you're gonna do is maybe waste some time, possibly throwing your life on the line for a joke.
All right, so I'm gonna say the same thing the last time we tried to record this episode, and that's it's a shame that people that are looking for truth are shamed by CNN. You know,
I do
and I want
admit
to
that.
say it. I do want to say that at least they're trying to do something, and and even if they're going there to just a party, that is part of what happens in most protests. There's a section that's like,
There is a piece of it there. There is a piece
yeah,
of it there.
it's a celebration of life. Protesting is a celebration of life. And so the fact that 2,000 people went there to party and 200 people went there to actually storm Area 51, which could get them obliterated, not just killed, obliterated. Like, that's nothing to laugh at. So that's why this video
I
is like,
understand where you're coming from. I really do. I feel like there's better places to be and other things to look at. That maybe
that's
that's why
right.
that was
Here comes
only.
our scripted transition.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a
we're,
scripted transition, so I'm gonna set this going on. We're just gonna listen to Greta's full speech
Greta,
because
your
yeah,
first climate strike
that actually
was a
matters.
lonely event a little over a year ago.
here we
And in
go.
the intervening time, you have sparked the interest of millions, literally, of children around the globe, demanding action for climate change. What's your message to world leaders today?
Uh, my message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Your mic.
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. The popular idea
Wow,
of
right?
cutting our
Yeah.
emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution, or the aspects of equity and climate justice. They also rely on my generation sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of the air with technologies that barely exist. So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us, we who have to live with the consequences. To have a 67% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees of global temperature rise, the best odds given by the IPCC, the world had 420 gigatons of CO2 left to emit back on January 1st, 2018. Today, that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? With today's emissions levels, that remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today, because these numbers are too uncomfortable and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not. Thank you.
We'll see you on the street.
Yeah. Yep.
Then next time you run a news clip, you gotta mute your mic.
Oh. Okay.
We keep it real here at TNT.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean, but wow, she is so amazing, and I'm so proud of her. Like, tears literally fall off my face every time from her. Right, and the fact that um we actually should have prepared images of the millions and millions of kids kids leading the fight for climate change.
You know,
I had to give a quick shout out to how awesome that is.
I do, I do agree with that. I think that's a wonderful thing. It's unfortunate that this is a ball that we have kicked to our kids, but it's the
Yeah,
way
that's
it
exactly
is.
what it is.
It's the way it is, man. And you know,
And
it's
well,
unfortunate that that's the way it is, but it kind of proves my point about your own interests.
right?
Corruptible, but that we were talking about earlier. But I'll digress and
Yeah,
leave that until later.
yeah, as long as the rich benefit, like it's going to be really hard to fight for climate change, but we have to do it. We have to do it anyways.
Has to be done. Something has to be done. And I don't really like industry passing the buck over onto the consumer like they do with plastic and a lot of other
No,
environmental
no, no.
issues.
Climate change cannot be privatized. Like we've already seen the results of that. Like we have to get a little bit socialist about it and
Yeah,
do the next.
we got to get a little bit into it, a little bit more so. I agree with that completely. I think that there's
Are we both Green New Deal? Is that what you're saying?
I think that that would be one hell of a good start. I think that if we turned our economy into solving this problem like we did turn our economy into solving the Russia problem or the Germany problem in previous times, if we actually like twist our economy to deal with new problems that aren't blowing each other up, we actually could get somewhere with it. I don't think that that's a bad plan at all. And that's kind of what the Green New Deal is. Not quite as far as I would go, but far enough, I think.
All right, that wraps up my segment. I said what I had to say, and now just like every time I'm gonna run this show, someone else gets the other half.
Yeah, well, so I wanted to take I wanted to take a little bit about Biden, and I know that I know that everybody's talking about this particular issue and everything like that, but uh, strangely enough, I actually I there's a lot of minds in this particular field. It's kind of a button issue for everybody, and there's a large portion of the people out there that just I don't know, don't really understand what's going on here. So I think that
We're looking
there's
at Washington Times, right?
yep, Washington Times right now.
Okay.
Um, uh,
Just read a couple. Do you want me to read it?
yeah, go ahead and read the first couple of paragraphs there. I
All right.
yeah,
Got it on the screen.
I got it on the screen.
Vice President Joe Biden's weekend trip to support Ukraine's fragile democracy comes soon after his youngest son was hired by a private Ukrainian company that promotes energy independence from Moscow. Wow. The company leases natural gas fields in the breakaway Russian backed state of Crimea and is owned by a former government minister with ties to Ukraine's ousted pro Russian president. The hiring of Hunter Biden, 44, by Burisma Holdings Limited in April. Limited kind of means something in the tax scheme stuff, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does. It does.
Um,
A little bit, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
all right. So Biden was hired by Burisma Holdings in April. Burisma Holdings Limited in April was approved by the company's owner, a former senior minister and political ally of Viktor Yanu. Now I see why you wanted me to
Victor
read it.
Yankovic.
Thank you. The exiled Ukrainian president Yankovych fled to Russia in February after protests erupted over his efforts to establish closer economic ties with Moscow. Hunter Biden's employment means he will be working as a director and top lawyer, same word, isn't it? For a Ukrainian
You're not wrong.
energy company during the period when his father and others in the Obama administration attempted to influence the politics of Ukraine's new government, especially on energy user issues. Okay, so
There's no indication that Hunter Biden, his father or Hiroshima, are crossing any legal or ethical lines, although ethics experts appear to be divided about this, and that was a kind of a big deal. Now, the main thing that I'd really like to point out about this article is that it was dated on Saturday, June 7th of 2014. This is, approximately when Hunter Biden was actually hired by this energy firm in Ukraine. 2015 in Ukraine was a really interesting year. If you don't know anything about it, you might want to look it up. 2014 and 2013 were also quite interesting. Ukraine, we have a pretty interesting recent history with Ukraine, and there's a lot going on, a lot going on under the hood here. But the part that really pegs my fun meter. Now I'm done with this particular article. I'm going to move on to the Hill article.
We are
Um,
introducing new
um,
I'm with you.
okay.
Joe Biden's 2020 Ukrainian nightmare, a closed probe, is revived.
Now I really want to point out this one's date as well. It's April 1st of 2019, my birthday actually.
And at that moment, after we were deprived of our
Uh,
territory,
um,
Crimea and eastern part of Ukraine,
uh,
Putin gave
I,
up 20.
I'm hearing something from your end.
Yeah, an ad came up when I
Oh,
went to the
yeah. I gotta hate those ads. They're getting worse every day. Anyway, the reason why I really want to,
if I'm gonna cause damage to my ears, I want it to be. I
yeah,
want it to
I
come
wanted
from
to,
some hardcore techno.
yeah. Um, so I'm gonna quote here. In April, Biden actually went on camera in front of everybody, in front of the world, and bragged about this particular situation. I said you're not getting the billion, quoting Biden here in the Hill article. You're not getting the billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it was about 6 hours. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours, and if the prosecutor isn't fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired, and they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Biden told the Council of Foreign Relations, told the Council on Foreign Relations at an event, insisting that President Obama was in on the threat. Now, um, the part that he didn't say to them was
I'm with you.
one piece is down here. Ukrainian officials tell me that there was one crucial piece of information that Biden must have known but didn't mention to his audience. The prosecutor he got fired was leading a wide-range corruption probe into the natural gas firm Bushima Holdings that employed Biden's younger son Hunter as a board member. This is corruption. That's absolutely what that means. And that's kind of a problem. And if they try to go after Trump, and I hear today that they're trying to open up impeachment hearings over him going after his political ally or his political enemy for corruption that his political enemy actually is corrupt for. If
Right.
they try to
I
impeach Trump over this, they're going to look like idiots and they're going to hurt everybody's chances in 2020 to beat Trump because he will hound this issue like a bongo drum. He's going to seriously hound this issue like a bongo drum. He's going to beat on this thing, and he won't shut up about this. I promise you. RussiaGate pretty much handed him frickin' 2016, And now we're going to do it again. Exact same playbook, exact same people. Oh, don't look at my corruption. And you can say a lot about Republicans, you really can, but you can't pull one over on a lot of them. They do notice that. And even though the ones that you actually talk to sound like idiots, the ones that notice that talk to those idiots. It's true.
Wow. I thought I would have a lot of good questions for you.
There
But
really
I
isn't.
don't. You kind of left me.
Then you know,
You covered a lot
I'm.
of the detail.
I did. I did. There really isn't a whole lot to this story except for the fact that Biden's corrupt. Big surprise. Oh, and Trump's corrupt too. I'm so shocked. Not Trump. You got to be kidding me. Not Biden. I mean, is anybody shocked? I'm not. I can't imagine that you're shocked. Are you shocked? Both these guys are corrupt. Are you shocked?
No, absolutely not. And that was the one question that I wanted to like uncover is like, don't both sides do this?
Yeah, that's the problem. That in my opinion, that's the problem because both sides point at the other one and say, "Oh, they're corrupt." Everybody's like, "Oh, they're corrupt," and then they either justify it because the last guy did it, or they justify it because the other side's more corrupt. And truth is, they're both corrupt. They're red team, blue team, dude. They're both in on it. They're both in on the gravy train. And don't think that these lawyers, political scientists, and political science majors spent 4 years doing political science. Vast majority of lawyers did 4 years of political science before they went into law school. So don't tell me that these guys don't know this. They do. I'm not a brilliant guy. They point at each other and they say you're corrupt, and then they try to stick each other with the stink of their own corruption. The only way that we're ever going to get the political capital out on the left is to clean our own house. Of course, we're not going to do that. But if we had the political capital to do it, we could. We really could.
Right, right, right. Look at yourself in the mirror, dear activist. The episode is over, but the conversation never ends. Thank you
That's
for listening to the Not Televised Revolution.